Yes, Your Honor. I came here to request to be taken off child support.
All right.
My child is almost 18 right now. I'm still sending cash apps, still taking care of my child, so I'm just confused on how the child is about to be 18. He's in the house with his new fiance, two-parent home right now, well, two incomes, and I feel like I just need to be taken off.
All right. So you came to court to ask to be taken off child support because he has a two-parent income?
In this episode of Support Court with Judge Vonda B., case number JVB 1063, unfolds as Miss Ford brings her case to the courtroom with one goal in mind: to be removed from her child support obligation. According to Miss Ford, her son is now 17 years old and just a few months away from graduating high school. She insists that despite the court order, she's the one covering most of his expenses, even though he currently lives with his father. Her son resides in a two-parent household with his father and the father's new fiancé, both of whom have stable incomes. Miss Ford explains that due to her business and work in the entertainment industry, she travels frequently and cannot have her son live with her full-time. Still, she claims to provide financially for her son beyond the $700 monthly support order, sending additional money directly to him via Cash App and supplying all his clothing and athletic gear from her fashion business. Judge Vonda B., known for her no-nonsense demeanor, listens carefully and asks what legal grounds Miss Ford is using to justify her request.
And because I do take care of my child.
All right. So what's the legal basis that you're asking to be removed from child support?
What am I paying child support for when I can take care of my own child? My child is just currently living with him because I'm on the road due to my business and entertainment and stuff like that. But as far as cash apps and financial responsibility, I do that without him. My child is almost 18, so I don't feel like I need to go through him for everything.
Okay. I understand. And you say he's almost 18, so he's 17.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Miss Ford responds by emphasizing that she's not trying to avoid financial responsibility. She simply believes it's unfair to funnel money through someone she accuses of being a user. In her view, the father is taking advantage of the situation, benefiting from her money, while she continues to support their child independently. She even suggests that if the roles were reversed, she would not have put the father on child support under the same circumstances. Judge Vonda points out that many people say they would act differently if the tables were turned, but experience has taught her that those claims don't always hold up in reality. She also clarifies the current situation. The child lives primarily with his father and enjoys being there. Miss Ford confirms that she wouldn't want to disrupt that living arrangement, reinforcing that her request is strictly about adjusting the financial order, not custody. The judge then turns to the father to hear his side. He confirms that their son has lived with him for most of his life and continues to do so, while he acknowledges that Miss Ford occasionally sends money outside of the court-ordered payments. He downplays its significance, calling it a little here and there.
Yes, ma'am.
And how long has he been living with you?
Pretty much all the way up till now, pretty much.
So even as a child from the time this order was entered?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And is it true what she's saying, she give extra outside of paying child support?
I mean, she does. I mean, it's a little here, a little bit here and there, but, you know.
How much child support are you receiving right now?
It's roughly around, it's probably about 700.
Okay.
He states that he is responsible for the child's health insurance, which costs around $350 a month for the entire household, and says he pays for extracurricular activities such as basketball and track. According to him, Miss Ford doesn't help with those expenses, nor is she consistently involved beyond her financial obligation. Miss Ford strongly disputes this, claiming she pays for everything from uniforms and shoes to personal items and recreational activities. She says she sends at least $500, sometimes $600, monthly to her son via Cash App, and she has receipts to prove it. Her son, she says, reaches out to her directly when he needs something, and she provides it without involving the father. Judge Vonda asks if she includes details in the Cash App memo to indicate the purpose of the payments, and Miss Ford confirms that she does. However, she sends the money to her son directly, which the father admits he was unaware of. This revelation shifts the dynamic, showing a disconnect not in responsibility, but in communication.
Consistently, what does your visitation look like?
Anytime that I'm in Dallas, I'm spending time with my child. And he also does not provide any clothing or anything of that nature for him.
He lives with him, so he has to be.
No, ma'am, I drops all that off. I'm a fashion designer and I have my own clothing line. So my child is always provided with clothes and sneakers, everything he needs for basketball, uniforms and stuff, I cover that. When he needs shoes,
He just said he pays for it.
maybe the training, but as far as his equipment and shoes and stuff, my son asks me for the money for that and I send him the Cash App. I even have the proof.
At this point, the judge reiterates that legally, Miss Ford cannot be removed from the child support order yet. Under the law, child support continues until the child turns 18 or graduates high school, whichever comes later. Since the son is still 17 and set to graduate in May, the order remains in effect for a few more months. However, Judge Vonda acknowledges that Miss Ford appears to be providing substantial additional support. While the father could not confirm the specifics, he also did not dispute the claims directly. Given this testimony, Judge Vonda decides that a reduction is fair. She announces that Miss Ford's child support obligation will be decreased from $700 to $450 per month. This amount aligns with what Miss Ford is already contributing through her supplemental Cash App transfers. The judge also notes that there was no prior court order requiring Miss Ford to reimburse the father for health insurance, and since no motion has been filed requesting a change, that aspect of the order will remain unchanged.
I think is very telling is that she is paying more. According to what she said, and you didn't refute it, she is paying more than the $700 that she's giving you monthly. So if all of that is, assuming that is true, because you didn't say whether or not it was true or not, I think she should get somewhat of a break on the child support, the monthly obligation at least. Health insurance was never ordered for you to reimburse it to him. So what I'll do is just keep it like it is.
As the decision is finalized, emotions begin to rise. Miss Ford comments that she is tired of financially supporting not only her son but the father's entire household, including his new children and fiancé. Judge Vonda immediately shuts this down, reminding her to stay focused and not spiral into irrelevant territory. What happens in the father's household, the judge asserts, is none of Miss Ford's business and is not up for discussion in this courtroom. In closing, Judge Vonda makes it clear the court's primary concern is the best interest of the child. Since both parents seem to be contributing in different ways, and since the child is just months away from reaching legal adulthood, the court sees no reason to eliminate the support order entirely. However, a reduction is warranted based on Miss Ford's consistent financial involvement. Judge Vonda dismisses the case, telling both parties to move forward. The father says he's ready to focus on his life with his wife and kids, while Miss Ford leaves knowing she's at least been heard, even if the outcome wasn't exactly what she wanted. Another day in support court, another difficult case where the truth lies somewhere in the middle, and fairness must be carefully measured.